Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us, and welcome to today's webinar. Before we begin, I'd like to welcome you to our webinar platform. You'll notice that this webinar is browser-based, so if you disconnect for any reason, please just click on the link that you received via email to rejoin the session. This webinar will also be recorded and available on demand. If you have any questions, you can send them in via the questions widget. Just type them into the box at the top right-hand corner of your screen and click submit. We will allocate some time at the end of this session to address any thoughts or questions you may have. Please use the yellow help widget if you require any assistance, and you can move, resize, and maximize any of the slides in front of you to get a better view of the presentation. But now, please allow me to welcome Nini.
Thank you very much, Seth. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our attendees and valued business partners. A warm welcome to the INNIO Jenbacher webinar about biogas solutions, putting waste to work. This is Nini. I will be your facilitator and moderator for today's webinar. Please allow me to introduce our speaker and the agenda. First, we will start with an introduction by Mr. Carsten, the Managing Director of INNIO Jenbacher in APAC, based in Singapore. Then our Sales Manager, Mr. Fatu, will present about Jenbacher Biogas Solutions. After that, our Senior Market Developer, Mr. Nicholas, will present about use case and reference projects. We are very much honored to have our special guest speaker, Dr. Khairuddin, the CEO of Concord Group of Companies, for a special presentation on Jenbacher Biogas Solutions at Concord Group. Please stay tuned with us for exciting presentations throughout our webinar. We appreciate it very much if you can also take part in the survey questions during or end of the webinar. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Carsten for an opening keynote. Mr. Carsten, please.
Good afternoon and then good morning into the biogas community. Thanks, Nini, for the very warm opening words, and welcome, dear friends of the green engines, wherever you are. And you are dialing in from everywhere, as we can see. We are happy to welcome not only participants from Southeast Asia, we have as well participants with us today from Africa, from China, from India, from the Emirates, from Europe, and from all the way down from the Caribbean, from Antigua and Barbuda. Warm welcome to all of you and your webinar, Putting Waste to Work, Empowering Sustainable Growth in Southeast Asia. Please allow me, before we start with the presenters, to introduce INNIO Jenbacher as part of the global team to support the sustainable energy transition. You, our customers and partners, are the most important part of the energy transition. Without your great contribution to the energy transition would be not possible. We as INNIO Jenbacher are the solution provider for sustainable power generation, and we are doing that with the competence of having now more than 55,000 engines installed globally, and supporting this business with a professional team of more than 4,000 experts. We are serving you with our distributors here in the region and with the INNIO Jenbacher warehouse and our experts from Singapore. And since 2022, we are as well ESG, environmental, social, and governance certified to support also sustainable project finance and make our solutions sustainable in global measures. Transition to 100% renewables is a marathon and not a sprint. We as INNIO Jenbacher supporting the way forward. With your support, we are already decarbonizing with every kilowatt hour of green power the local energy markets. As of today, we are operating with you more than 500 biogas engines and more than 3,000 megawatts of sustainable power here in Asia Pacific. And the trend is clear. Decarbonization will only be possible via sustainable green fuels like biogas today, and in the future, biomethane and green hydrogen, which offers huge opportunities for all of us in the future. The energy transition is a marathon and not a trend. What we see at INNIO Jenbacher as the green megatrends for our region is definitely point number one: electrical energy will be the driving force of the future. You see it already with EV charging, data hosting, and electrification of our society. This requires a huge amount of sustainable fuels for power generation. Flexibility is king. Dispatchable power whenever is needed. The fluctuating renewables are the new baseload. This is absolutely clear. Mainly, this will come out of PV and wind, but this regime needs more and more support when the sun is not shining and the wind is not blowing. For this, we need green, dispatchable power solutions. Most of the countries, policymakers, and investors have already realized thinking global but act global is important. Green power and sustainable CO2 electricity is overall urgently needed to fulfill the Paris Agreement and avoid a global temperature rise above 1.5 degrees Celsius. We see already an increasing policy support not only for biogas and also strong investments for green businesses everywhere. Everyone has understood there is less need to ship molecules like LNG all over the world. Southeast Asia has own opportunities to develop biogas, support liquefaction of biogas and supply chain optimization, or produce biomethane to substitute natural gas in the existing pipeline systems. So overall, a very good climate and business environment for sustainable power generation out of biogas. Let us all work on the huge potential to develop biogas solutions and green fuels. With you, as partners and friends of the green engines, we achieved already a great basis for future business and decarbonization. More than 6,000 biogas engines already delivered worldwide. In Asia Pacific, we are on the right way. As of today, more than 300 megawatt in Thailand are installed, more than 200 megawatt in Indonesia, and approximately 100 megawatt in Malaysia, showing the right way. And we can tell you, from a strong participant and stakeholder of the energy transition, we are investing in the right technology and solutions for decarbonization. Let us make it happen and run together the marathon road towards decarbonization. It's a great pleasure now to hand over to the INNIO Jenbacher team, and it's my pleasure to welcome as well Datuk Khairuddin, an important voice of a local Jenbacher customer in the region and a great leader on our aligned journey towards decarbonization. Next speaker in the lineup is Mr. Fatou Handoko and his presentation on biogas solutions empowering sustainable growth across Southeast Asia. Thank you very much, and Fatou, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Castor. Good day, everyone. My name is Fatou, currently taking care of sales, Jenbacher sales manager for Indonesia and Malaysia. As Carsten mentioned earlier on, the decarbonization effort of every country in the world, we know every country in the world has started the journey towards net zero with their own target and their own timeline. Also, with this journey, new challenges arise. With the decarbonization, we see there's no new coal power plant that used to be a baseload power plant. And we see the incoming of renewables coming from solar and wind coming to the grid. This brings a lot of intermittency and volatility to the grid. As we see now, as INNIO as a solution, energy solution provider, we see biogas is the answer for these challenges. Especially for Southeast Asia, there are a lot of abundant feedstock that can be converted into biogas. So in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand is the top 3 of the palm oil palm oil production. We have so biogas came from this palm oil waste. It can be coming from municipal waste. It can be from cassava waste. So a lot of feedstock that are available in this region. Okay, and what is biogas? Basically, natural gas is consisting of the main component of natural gas is CH4 or methane. So biogas is the same. It is consists of methane and carbon dioxide, but it came from the anaerobic fermentation of organic matters. So all of these organic matters can be converted into biogas. And this biogas is basically regarded as carbon neutral. Why we call it carbon neutral? Because during the life of its plant, the carbon dioxide is absorbed by this plant, and we utilize this plant to generate biogas. And in our engine, we convert that into CO2 and coming back to the atmosphere. That's why all of the cycle is coming back to the atmosphere. The CO2, we didn't add any additional CO2 to the atmosphere. On top of that, we also, if we keep the waste on the open atmosphere, they will generate CH4, which is a very dangerous greenhouse gases. So with our solution, by generating electricity from the biogas, basically we convert the CH4 into energy and CO2. So it's much more or less dangerous than the CH4 for our ozone. Next, what is the potential? So based on this IRENA study, the bioenergy could factor of 40% of the total energy supply by 2050. So this is a huge numbers that coming from their side. And what is the successful criteria for a sustainable biogas project? First thing first is always the feedstock supply. So we know the feedstock is easy to get, but to secure sustainable and constant amount of feedstock, that's the challenge that for this biogas project. Second is coming from the government. It has to be investor-friendly environment. It can be in form of feed-in tariff. It can be in forms of tax holiday. So we'll go to details on each country after the slide. And last one is coming from the stakeholders. We are very honored on this occasion. We have Datuk Hairudin from Concord Group, one of the very prominent biogas developer in Malaysia, to share more later on his experience on developing biogas in Malaysia. Okay, next we go deep dive into country-specific policy. We see in Thailand, they have a very big project up to 5 gigawatt up until 2030. So this consists of wind, solar, battery, and also biogas and biomass. The biogas itself consists of 330 megawatt project up until 2030. So this is also backed up by the feed-in tariff that is rolled out by the ERC, Energy Regulatory Commission of Thailand. Next is Malaysia. So Malaysia is also the same. They have a very good setup with the incentive for biogas projects. So they have a government body called SEDA, Sustainable Energy Development, that rolled out feed-in tariff and quota for any renewable, including biogas. Annually, they roll out around 30 megawatt of biogas project since 2014. Last but not least is Indonesia. So to be honest, it's a little bit behind on the policy compared to the two countries that I mentioned before, but we just have the new presidential decree on renewable energy tariff, but it will be implemented soon. So a lot of things to catch up for Indonesia to have a similar incentive from Thailand and Malaysia. Currently, the biogas in Indonesia mostly rely on the captive market, so they utilize the electricity for their own consumption. So what we can offer as a solution from Jenbacher? So Jenbacher gas engines can utilize biogas and generate electricity out of it. And our gas engines have a special version for a hot and humid condition like country in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, which is very high humidity and high ambient temperature. So we have a dedicated version to tackle this condition. So you see in the picture is the typical biogas power plant. So the feedstock, if it's in form of liquid, it can go directly, we just pipe it into the digester. So digester is look like a big balloon here. You can see later on in the project reference, it's like a huge balloon in the land. So it goes in the anaerobic digester where the biogas is processed. It will be where anaerobic process is taken place and biogas is the output of this process. So there's also the sludge coming out of this process that can be reutilized as a what do you call this? As a fertilizer for the plantation. After the biogas is produced, they will go a few treatment first to clean, basically to reduce the amount of sulfur before going to the engine. So the output of the engine is first electricity, and the second is usually the people that usually forget is we also produce heat. So there are two kind of heat that coming out of the engine. First is the jacket water heat. So it's a low temperature heat between 80 to 100 degree that can be utilized to produce hot water. And second is quite high temperature heat coming from the exhaust gas. This is between 350 to 500 degrees Celsius that we can utilize to generate steam if the industry needs this steam, if there's industry nearby needs steam. So we go to our product range. So we serve from the smallest one, 250 kilowatt, up to the biggest one, 3.3 megawatt. So start with type 2 is smaller engines, serving 250 to 160 kilowatts. Type 3 and Type 4 is our go-to engine for this biogas project. So Type 3 has been there since 1988. We always improve these engines. It starts with A series. Now we are on the F version. So there's always an increase of efficiency every time we upgrade the versions. So it serves from 600 kilowatt up to 1 megawatt. And now with F version, we are reaching more than 41% efficiency. So Type 4 is serving 900 kilowatt up to 1.5 megawatt. We launched back in 2002 with higher efficiency than Type 3. But as of today, Type 3 is catching up the efficiency. So it's the efficiency difference is now smaller, but Type 4 is slightly higher than Type 3 at the moment. And last but not least, the biggest one, Type 6. This is a very special one. If the customer really needs this big engine, we can deploy the Type 6 engine. Its smallest one will be 1.8 megawatt up to 3.3 megawatt for this biogas application. We also have the options to go with the standard container resolution from the Jenbacher itself. So Type 2, Type 3, Type 4, so up to 1.5 megawatt engine can fit into standard 40-foot container. So basically, it's almost plug and play. You just have to get ready for the foundation and you just put the container on top of it. The radiator, silencer, all the piping is already done by ourselves. So what is the benefits that you will get by using these solutions? There are a lot of things that to go through on this one, but I'm just gonna summarize into those three. Basically, like the title of this webinar, putting waste to work. So basically, we get additional revenue coming from this waste. It's supposed to be waste, but we can utilize it to generate additional revenue for ourselves. Second one is less emission. So rather than we emit the CH4 up to the atmosphere, we can capture it and we convert it to CO2, and on top of that, we can get additional electricity and also the heat coming from the engine. And I would say the title should be putting waste to work in efficient way, because with this solution, if we utilize the electricity and also heat, we can go up to 95% efficiency using this solution. So then what's next for the future of the biogas? I will let our senior market developer, Nicholas Liang, to take care of the slide. With that, I give the floor to Nicholas.
Thank you very much, Pato. I'm Nicholas here. I'm actually representing the INNIO Jenbacher. I'm actually the senior market developer for entire Asia Pac. I'm based in Malaysia here, so good afternoon from Malaysia. Okay, as for the Jenbacher approach, this is actually, we have this virtual pipeline on-site biogas liquefaction or compressions. So basically what is happening on the liquefactions? Liquefaction is actually the biogas can be liquefied and easily transported to the communities and also the industries that needed it. So what happened after the regasifications, this renewable energy source can provide this sustainable power and heat through Jenbacher engine solutions. So as for the compressions integrated, so these are compression solutions, it can be used to produce like biogas CNG, okay, on site. Then it can be transported through like your virtual pipelines to the locations with high power demand. The result is very simple, it's green power and also eventually heat is supplied to where it is needed, while greenhouse emission is already reduced. Okay, as for the one integrated solutions, biogas must be upgraded before it compressed to or liquefied. Even smaller applications, this process can be using one of the integrated solutions, accelerating time to market and renewable and natural gas monetizations. As for the economical, it is a viable approach. We do have a call this. We do have like this business assumption case in between in Malaysia. It's actually quite viable, which is we are using one of the case study, which is a J420, about 1.56 megawatts. So as for this 1.56 megawatts, we are assumption that this is actually about 163 kilowatts, which is the auxiliary output, and at 43% efficiency, the net electrical output about 1.5 and about 1.4 megawatt. So every year we assume that about 6,700 hours operation hours. The total net electricity output will be about 9.365 megawatt for a year. And the biogas, we talk about the EPC investment cost about 3.12 million USD. And looking at this, be able to generate like about let's say the annual viable cost about, as well excluding the lube oil, including like all the milling costs, about 28,000 USD per year. Lube oil cost is very simple, it's about 3 USD per liters. Wastewater, definitely there's no cost at all. And electricity price, we're talking about FIT, probably about 8.9 USD, 8.9 cents USD. As for the 20 years of a depreciation period and discount rate at about 10%. Evaluation period is about 21 years. So what the key parameters of course is the total investment cost, electricity price, cost of fuel, and of course operating hours and tax allowance and exemption, which is not included. Okay, look at this SEDA. In Malaysia, we do have something called this SEDA. What is SEDA? Is actually a statutory body established by the Sustainable Energy Development Authorities. It's actually managed and oversees the implementations of the feed-in tariff mechanisms. So what about this? The feed-in tariff mechanisms is to encourage the biogas to power projects that use waste resources such as the landfill, sewage gas, agricultural waste, including animal waste as energy source. From the table on the right, you can see actually feed-in tariff for biogas, landfill, agricultural waste. Okay, based up to 5 megawatt. Okay, up to and including 5 megawatts. The feed-in tariff rate is actually about 28 cents in ringgit Malaysia. Let's say you have a bonus FIT rate for allowing some criteria, which is use of gas engine technologies and electrical efficiency above 40%. Okay, then you can have about 1.99 cents extra. As for using a local manufacturer and assemble a gas engine technology, we can have another 5 cents extra. With use of landfill, sewage gas, okay, agriculture, waste, including animal waste such as fuel source, you can have another 7.8 cents per kilowatts. So this is one of the things that it actually encouraged the Malaysian company or maybe whatever even like chicken farm, chicken farms or the pig farms, okay, to use all this waste from like chicken manure or pig manure or even like palm oil pomace, these things to generate electricities. So what happened? You looking at the LCOE, this levelized cost of electricity versus electrical tariff. Okay, the most important thing is our key things is to have a lower cost against the electricity, so we can have a more investment of return, faster investment of return, and of course we can gain some profit from there. Okay, also enabling the path to net zero. And according to our data, we already have about 6,000 biogas systems around the globe, which is a proven concept case in point of Southeast Asia. Okay, this is one of our references, which is Adela biogas plant. This plant actually is owned by this Concord group of companies, which is one of our speakers, which Dato' Khairuddin. So this plant actually using about 2 units of 412 engine. The power output is 1.8 kilowatts, 1.8 megawatts. The total electrical efficiency is about 42.6%. This plant actually located in Johor, Malaysia, which is a very successful plant, and actually is also ongoing for the expansion too. Also, one of the another plant which is located in Thailand. This is actually a Chok Yuan Yong Industries. It uses about 5 units of J420. And this is the total electrical output is 7.1 megawatt. The thermal output actually is about 5.2 megawatt. This is located in Kam Teo So district in Thailand, which is this is actually a very good because it's using the heat recovery systems, and actually it convert the exhaust gas from the engine into steam that used into the starch production process. Okay. This is also one of the very good references where we have this Wangdi Energy. Okay, it turning waste into power. Okay, this plant actually use about 4 units J320. The total electrical output is a 4.27 megawatt. The total electrical efficiency is actually 40.2%. It commissioned since 2015. And also it does have this expansion in 2021 and 2023 too. This is actually Kamping Phet province in Thailand itself. Okay. As for this Wangdi Energy, okay, it turns to Seoul authorized one of our authorized Jenbacher distributor in region for a solution that has progressed over time. The result is highly reliable on-site productions, power production solutions. Bring much lower energy cost to the processing plant. Okay? And the facility can even earn extra profit by selling excess power back to the local grid. Yep. So my slide is pretty much that's it. And I would love to hand it over to one of our great speakers, which is Dato' Khairuddin. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone, wherever you are in the world. My name is Dato' Khairuddin. I'm the CEO of the Concord Group of Companies. Today, I'm very honored to be invited as a presenter for this INNIO Jenbacher Biogas Solutions workshop, and specifically for the Concord Group. Who we are. The Concord Group, we ventured into the biogas industry in 2014 in Malaysia. And since then, we have been the developer of biogas FIT project. Like what was mentioned by Nicholas and Fatur before me, the mechanism in Malaysia is very structured. So if you have a biogas project in Malaysia, the most obvious and the most attractive solutions or for you to create wealth is to go for FIT projects. So currently in Malaysia, we have 7 operational plants and we have another 6 with quota in hand that we aim to develop over the next 1.5 years. So in total, we are now doing undertaking project and operations for 13 biogas plants in Malaysia. And in 2017, we ventured into Indonesia for biogas projects, biomethane projects, but more as a contractor, as EPCC. So if you see on the slides, we have the pictures, the photos of our biogas sites in Malaysia and Indonesia for your reference. This is a typical biogas plant. You can see it through for Malaysia, especially for Malaysia, Indonesia and Thailand, whereby the feedstocks are mainly from palm oil mill effluent. So if we see here, the diagram shown, the typical process will be from the palm oil mill, the palm oil mill effluent goes into our biogas system, and through anaerobic reaction and certain processes, we create the methane gas, and this methane gas we will convert either to electricity or we can upgrade and do into biomethane. So it is dependent on what is the objective of the investments. When we undertake biogas projects, wherever you are in the world, for example, like in Malaysia, like what Nicholas mentioned just now, the total investments can be ranging from, let's say, 3 million USD up to maybe 5 million USD. It is especially true, let's say, if you undertake FIT projects or biomethane projects. So the sort of investments that we are looking at, we have to make sure that we have already catered for some of the risks or the general risk upfront before we embark into these projects. For example, as you can see on the slides, during project construction phase, we have to decide our biogas plant, our investment in a biogas plant to get future income. The critical decision that we have to make sure is, do we go by quality? Do we go by pricing? Do we go in terms of timeline that we have to fulfill? So these are the things that we have to juggle and decide. And upfront, we have to decide on this. Because once you have embarked and you have started to pay your capex and invest, then there's no turning back usually. Secondly, let's say you have commissioned the plant. Then during the operation maintenance, for example, in our case, under the feed-in tariff in Malaysia, the 10-year sheet is about, the power purchase agreement is for 21 years. So we have to decide upfront and we have to know upfront what will be the risk that we foresee before we embark into a biogas project or bio-CNG project under FIT, or even if we do upgrading of the gas. So these are the examples of risks that we have to bear in mind in terms of the feedstock, the consistency of the feedstock over the 10-year sheet of our PPA, for example, the availability of, let's say, the spare parts for our equipment, not only for gas engines, we have so many other equipments that we have to foresee also. And these are very important. Thirdly, maybe we have to consider also, which is very critical and imperative, is we need to have the technical knowledge for us to run a biogas plant. And fourthly, as we do operation maintenance, there will be times whereby we are in a shutdown or we have something that we have to troubleshoot. Then what is very important is how do we correct this thing in time. So these are the examples of the thing that we have to foresee even before we embark into a biogas project. Then the next question is, which biogas engine, for example, in our case, that we decide or we will consider to use for our biogas projects. For example, in the Concord Group, biogas engine constitute, for example, in terms of capex, it constitute about 30 to 40% of our capital expenditure. And at the same time, during maintenance period, for the operation and maintenance of the gas engine is easily about 40 to 45% of our OPEX. So upfront, these are the things that we have to decide even before we embark or we start to apply for FIT quota or we do any gas solution for clients. These are the things that we have to ensure that make sure upfront, please consider all this. For example, for Concord Group, we have been a client for INNIO Jenbacher for the last 5 years. And all our engines are from INNIO Jenbacher. And we are very happy. Thank you to the panelists here who are all from INNIO. So we are very comfortable and we don't foresee that we are going to change any engine anytime soon because we believe that in terms of competitiveness, the Jenbacher engine for us is the best. In terms of the service provided by the distributor, by INNIO, is the best amongst out there. So we believe in long-term partnership. But for a new starter, this is a very important factor that why do you use and why do you choose INNIO Jenbacher rather than other types of engines? For example, first, maybe you can look into the capex. This is a very critical aspect because capex, as we know, for example, even the Jenbacher engine is expensive. But with the expensive, it comes with quality. So you are paying for something which you know it can stand and withstand the 21 years. So you invest in a bit more, but you know in terms of durability, the reliability of the engine, it will give you maximum output over that 21 years. So with quality comes with the pricing. And the pricing for INNIO Jenbacher engines are very competitive and very good. Thirdly, for example, for capex, we have to ensure that you have to minimize your risk because doing operation is already risky. Then you have risks outside of this, which, for example, are the exchange rate risk. So let's say if you do a biogas project in Indonesia or Thailand or even in Malaysia, Philippines, for example, just make sure because sometimes our currency does fluctuate. So try to minimize and consider this aspect. For example, in Malaysia, we are very fortunate that our distributor in Malaysia, they quote us in ringgit. So that helps us to be more competitive. And at least on our side, we can eliminate this particular exchange rate risk. Then the next question that you need to ask yourself before you buy any type of engine is the configuration and the requirements. First of all, do you need a type 3 or you need a type 4? For example, for Concord Group, we do projects in Malaysia for FIT. We need the efficiency. That's why we go for type 4. Then under type 4, do you go for one engine of 1.5 megawatt or you go for two engines with a maximum of 1.8 megawatt? So these are the things that you have to juggle because rather than buying one engine, maybe it's better to buy two engines. You can go maximum on one engine during low crop. Or maybe it's better to buy one engine, at least you can go maximum all the time. So these are the things that you have to bear in mind. And anything, let's say, from this webinar, anything that you need any advice, even from us as user of biogas engine, offline you can ask me later about our experience throughout our journey with INNIO Jenbacher and the FIT program. The next one we have to consider, for example, in Malaysia, the local distributor is UMW. Previously was Dana, then it transitioned into UMW, and we have been very happy. We are very closely friends and partners with UMW in Malaysia, and also in Indonesia, we have Euro-Asiatic. One important aspect that you have to consider in terms of operational is the availability of the long-term service agreement. So by having the long-term service agreement, at least you will know upfront what will be the cost for you to run your biogas projects over the years. So this long-term service agreement, one may give you the certainty on the pricing, may give you the certainty on the scheduled maintenance. So at least you can manage your cash flow a bit more better in the coming years. So this is one important aspect. Secondly, the distributor plus INNIO have to make sure in terms of the downtime and fast response time. So as users, whenever the engine is down, straight away we will call the distributor, we'll call INNIO. So minimal downtime and fast response time is important. Thirdly, availability of spare parts are imperative, is very, very important, because we cannot wait. Once your engine goes down and for fast-moving item, suddenly you have to wait for the item to come from Europe, which will take another maybe 1 or 2 weeks. We are here. So availability of spare parts are very important. The fourth, I would say, in terms of compensation, the warranty given, even in terms of the insurance on the engine based on the downtime or loss of income, are also very important that we have to bear in mind. Meaning, let's say the engine is down, is it covered under warranty? Or do we take extra insurance to make sure that the downtime or loss of income we can claim for the insurance? So these are the things that you have to bear in mind. Then, specifically in Malaysia, Indonesia, for the Concord Group, we are dealing with distributors, UMW in Malaysia, Euroasiatic in Indonesia. So we have been together with them for the last so many years. So we believe and we would like this partnership to continue until the end of all our projects. And then specifically to this country here, Malaysia, one important component is, like what mentioned by Nicholas just now, is the SEDA bonus tariff. So with INNIO Jenbacher engine, we can get the additional 5 cent, the local assembly, extra bonus, and also the 2 cent efficiency under the Type 4. So these are, for example, the important factors that you have to bear in mind. These are our footprint in Malaysia. If you see here, we have a number of sites. And for all these sites, actually, like I mentioned just now, we have bought entirely from INNIO Jenbacher because we believe in the product. So currently, our purchase of engine for Malaysian projects of INNIO Jenbacher engine is at 17.7 megawatt. Some are already installed. The one in green color, the one in blue color, we are now undertaking those projects. And moving forward for the next 1.5 years, we still have another order for about between 4 to 5 engines for the next 1 year. So as we foresee, we are going to undertake and we are going to start discussing with INNIO for the purchase of the next 5 projects. In Indonesia, like in Malaysia just now, for us to purchase, to service our engines, the spare parts delivery all comes from UMW. In Indonesia, we deal with Euroasiatic. But in Indonesia, it depends because, for example, we are mainly as EPCC provider in Indonesia. So the engine is either bought by our project owner, the mill owner, or they give the responsibility to Concord to buy from them. So in either way, we also deal with Euroasiatic. And currently, our footprint with Euroasiatic and INNIO in Indonesia, the install capacity that we have purchased is 5.3 megawatt that we have installed at our sites, the 3 sites. So I think, in summary, as users of INNIO Jenbacher engine for the last 5 years, I hope that this partnership can be maintained for maybe the users out there who are still deciding which engine to buy, what is the advice to go into biogas or maybe to do FIT or bio-CNG. Whatever, you can come forward and contact me. I will give you a friendly advice because we have gone through the process. We have gone through trial error. We have considered all the gas engines, whatever that you see in the world, to just go through and buy the best. And at last, we decided to buy the INNIO Jenbacher engine. So if you see on my last slide, these are some of our project references, the pictures. First, we have the Lepahile on the left. This one won the National Energy Award in Malaysia in 2020, and it was number 2 in ASEAN. Then we have the Adela in the middle up there. That one won the National Energy Award in 2021. And last year, 2022, we won the National Energy Award for our Kraton 2 biogas plant. And this also got first runner-up in ASEAN. So all this thanks to all the stakeholders that we have. And I must say thank you to INNIO Jenbacher and the team and UMW in Malaysia and Eurasia in Indonesia for helping us to where we are today. So any questions are most welcome. Then if anything, if I cannot answer after this, please take it offline. You can contact me by email or you may have my number. Just contact me. Thank you. Good day all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Karudin, and also all our speakers here. And yeah, this webinar will be available on demand with a link in the email later on. The link and the email can be also shared within your network context. Please also type in any questions in the chat. We will try to answer as much questions as possible here. Otherwise, we will follow up separately if we cannot answer any question here due to time limit. Okay, for the very first question about, let me read out the question first. Can we use textile spinning waste like cotton waste as feedstock for generating biogas? I would like to address this question to Mr. Carsten here, our managing director. Carsten, would you like to take the question?
Yes, for sure. It's a pleasure, and thank you very much for handing in this question, because it's indeed something with regard to circular economy. So everyone knows it. There's a lot of waste out of the cotton of the textile industry, and indeed you can use cotton waste, namely the cotton stalks, the cotton seed hull, and the cotton oil cakes for producing biogas under an anaerobically atmosphere. So yes, it is possible, and it's up to, I would say, 80 milligram CH4 within a 20-day cycle under this basial medium. So it is definitely possible to produce biogas out of it. At the moment, it's still a niche, I have to admit, but if someone developing this kind of project, it would be a pleasure to discuss this in more further details. But definitely, this is a yes, you can produce biogas out of it. Thank you, Nini.
Thank you very much indeed, Carsten, for the very insightful and detailed answer. And yeah, please feel free to reach out via the service and etc. And we will reach out to address more about your concern and the question. So the next question, let me read out first. How can we convert existing J620 series engines with gas fire can be converted over biogas? So for this question, I would like to address to Mr. Fatu, who is very technical person in our colleagues. Fatu, please.
Thank you, Nyi. So the question is, can we convert type 6 natural gas into biogas? The short answer is yes. Reach out to our special team. It's called CMNU, Conversion, Modification, and Upgrades team. Just reach out to our website, and we will channel it to this CMNU team. So the first thing that needs to be changed is for sure is the gas stream, because the biogas has a bigger gas stream, as you know, natural gas. So we will need a bigger gas stream to compensate for biogas project. You can mention what is the J number of your existing engine, and we will check one by one what is the part that needs to be converted to be able to run on biogas. So please reach out on our website, and then we will channel it to our CMNU team for this one. And please mention your location, right? Also, I think that will be also important.
Thank you very much, Fatu. If you need further clarification, please feel free to reach out to our team and we will follow up accordingly. Yeah, please feel free to type in any questions you may have. Yeah, if we cannot answer here, definitely we will reach out and follow up later on. And the next question is about the service setup topic. Let me read out the question first. How is local service support ensured in Southeast Asia, SEA? I think Fatu would like to take this question as well.
Yep. Ken, thanks, Nyi. So from the service we have in every country, we have our own distributor that able to service our engine. In Malaysia, we have BMW. In Thailand, we have Sour. In Indonesia, we have Eurasiatic. Yeah, there will be 24/7 ready on your disposal for any service support. And also back in Singapore, we just launched a warehouse last year. It's a service hub basically when we try to reduce the lead time rather than waiting from the stock from the Europe, we have it in Singapore ready. So yeah, that's our solution here for the service side.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much, Fatu. And the next question is outlook about the. Let me read out the questions. How is the biofuel industry outlook in the regions? So I think this question, our managing director, Mr. Carsten, can elaborate more. Carsten, would like to take the question, please?
Yes, and it was really an interesting thing. We discussed this right this morning before we started the webinar. And yeah, the development of the biogas business is a little bit like a small story. And I think the lessons learned and the acceleration towards using more green fuels into in our power system is also the development of this Russian-Ukrainian war, where we could see that a lot of natural gas was flowing immediately from Asia Pacific into Europe, and gas prices went up, and policymakers could realize how difficult it is to have not stranded assets by having these very high natural gas prices. So also from the policy side, there's a lot of development to establish local champions in the biogas field. And I think with also with Concord, where with Datuk's team, you can see that there are already some local champions established and under development, even to expand also in other countries. So what you can see here on this picture is, for me, the statement and the proof that we are in the right industry, that we are investing in the right technology, that we are looking in the right opportunities for the future. So there is a global biofuel alliance, which includes not only the biogas, but also the solid biomass, and also biomethanol, and everything which is or has the opportunity to decarbonize. So, and you see here policymakers, left side from Singapore down to the Emirates. So everyone here is included. And I think this is maybe also the answer to the question. Yes, there's a big momentum for sustainable fuels to decarbonize and to for sure cover the Paris Agreement. And I think the development is excellent for biotechnology and biofuel in the next years. And as Datuk said, if the country like Malaysia is setting the right environment with feed-in tariffs, with tax holidays, with a lot of incentives for foreign direct investments and local investments, I think then everything is prepared for a very, very successful future.
Thank you very much indeed, Carsten. And the next question is, let me read out the question. Just 1 second. So it is quite straightforward and simple question. can biogas waste be used as biomass fuel? I think Fatu, you are the most technical person here. I would like to take questions and elaborate a little bit.
Yep.
Biogas
So can
waste,
biogas waste be used as biomass
biomass
fuel?
fuel.
So biogas and biomass actually it's two different part of technology. So biogas you do fermentation, fuel as it is with the few fuel treatment, and you can use the fuel. You can use it as a fuel. So it's two different to become biogas, or you can use the feedstock as biomass. So it's two different. Yeah, it used two different technologies. So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Fatu. Yeah, if the question is about the final waste after the biogas production, yeah, definitely such waste can be used as the fertilizer just to chip in. Yeah, definitely biogas and biomass has the different treatment processes. Okay, thank you very much, Fatu. And the next question is, let me read out the question. It is very interesting indeed. Anyway, I would like to give this question to our speakers. Are you working to install hydrogen fuel in India? So this is really interesting questions. Here we are talking about biogas as the green fuel, and hydrogen definitely is also the green fuel. So I would like to pass this question to our MD, Mr. Carsten. Carsten, again, please.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. I was honestly waiting for this question, and as you can see already on the picture, I think one of the pacemakers for indeed using hydrogen, converting also out of biomethane H2 will be definitely India. So India, I think, has at the moment a huge burden with a lot of coal-fired installations, and this is still a big point also in the industry. It's very important to getting people in the business there, the coal industry. But on the other hand, I think India has realized that they have to develop this value chain for hydrogen. And absolutely, yes, sir, whoever, or a lady or gentleman, whoever raised these questions, we are developing this, and we see a lot of potential, especially for India. And if you want to have an overview, a quick overview about it, get in contact with us and our GM in the region, and also browse for an interesting article just recently published in The Economist about the hydrogen economy in India. So this is really something which is super interesting, and India will make the pace as well, together with a lot of countries here in Southeast Asia.
Thank you very much, Carsten, again for very insightful answer. Yeah, I completely agree with the with the outlook. And the next question is, let me read out the question. What are the challenges of biogas as a fuel compared to natural gas? Again, Fatu, as a technical, I would like to pass this question first to you.
Yes, thanks. From the technical side, what is the big difference between natural gas and biogas is the sulfur content. So with the biogas, there is a small amount of sulfur content. It's not a challenge basically, because I think these technologies to clean the sulfur coming from the biogas is already available there. So that's the main difference between natural gas and biogas. I think that's on the technical side, but on the commercial side, I think Dato on his presentation already elaborately explain on what is the challenges on the commercial and technical side for the biogas project.
Thank you very much, Fatu. And we have the time limit, so I will take one or two more questions to answer here. But please feel free to type in more questions and we will definitely follow up later on. Let me read out the next question. So it is also very interesting question. How to ensure biogas projects are viable? And I would like to address this question to our very handsome special guest speaker, Datuk Khairuddin. Datuk, can you please take this question?
Thank you, Nini. Based on our experience doing projects in Malaysia and around the region, biogas is a green energy component, and green energy actually is still very expensive. We need a lot of government support and government framework and incentives to make it happen, especially I would say through maybe in most countries in Southeast Asia. For example, like in Malaysia, here we are fortunate that the government is very, very supportive with the FIT mechanism scheme, whereby every year under SEDA Malaysia, they will release quotas for us to undertake biogas projects. So when we take the biogas project, we take up, we get the quota, then we go to the bank to undertake financing facility before we start the projects. When you go to the bank to get this financing facility is very, very important on the off-takers and the certainty of getting the income. So when you have so-called like these FIT projects in Malaysia that we have for electricity, then the bankers, the financiers, they become more confident, and because they know at the end of the day, the off-takers is mainly the GLC of the government, then the project is for 21 years. Then at the same time, there are incentives given like by the government here, and I would say this is also applicable to everywhere in Southeast Asia mainly, that the government can do more in other countries and in most countries, whereby like in Malaysia, we have been given a lot of incentives. So meaning like here we have the tax-free, the pioneer status for 10 years under the corridor, or even under the MIDA, Malaysian Development Authority. So there are like, for example, like income tax exemption, then income tax allowance. So all this helps for us to undertake green projects. So for example, the green projects are still very expensive. For example, in this region, the government also give, for example, in Malaysia, we have the Green Technology Financing Scheme and the Corporate Guarantee Scheme, whereby when you go to the bank, the government, basically, they guarantee your bank loan for about 60 to 80%. So the bankers will feel more comfort and confident that this, whatever loan that they give out to the developer can be paid on time and in time. Then secondly, for example, under this GTFS also, whatever interest rate that you pay to the government, you get back rebate in terms of the interest rate given back by the government to you. So these are the things that I think most countries in the region, they have to evaluate in order for you to make green energy to be as competitive as the normal fossil fuel industry. We need to step up, and we need to have a very good framework whereby the policy is important and also the incentives are important, so that people, once they go in, they will be in for the long term and they won't exit prematurely. So these are the things, Nini, that I can share based on our experience, whereby to make it viable, as of now, most countries, not only in the region, but most countries in the world, we still need the government support until we reach a time whereby the developers or investors of, for example, biogas or other REs, they can be independent and they can find their off-takers, they can be at their own feet in order for them to make sure that this industry remains relevant and viable.
Thank you very much, Datuk, for the very insightful and detailed answers. We still have a lot more questions, and our teams are very much willing to answer. But due to the time limit, we have to end the webinar. Now we already overshoot a few minutes. So thank you very much for staying with us for the past 1 hour. And I would like to hand over to Carsten for the very last few words, and then we will close the webinar. Carsten, please.
Thank you very much, Nini, and then thank you to all of you, all participants around the world, we have to say, and then also to Datuk for his very insightful presentation about really how it works and then how it is feasible in Malaysia. And if you have any further questions, so as Nini already mentioned, so drop us the questions. We will come back to you shortly. And to give you also my last statement, I think biogas is not the biogas industry from the last 10 years. It is developing with a tremendous speed and also alongside the entire value chain. So look, today we are talking about liquefaction of biogas, about supply chain, and also by decarbonizing different sectors like mobility sector with this liquefied biogas with other things. So I think we are on a good path. We do our homework as well as INNIO Jenbacher. We are establishing our value chain. We are pushing our R&D to the next level. And it's really a pleasure also to have this huge community and this huge basis of friends of the green engines. And this makes us very optimistic that we all can achieve the race to net zero. And let us work on the future. And many thanks indeed for all of you joining us. And with these final words, I would like to close. Thanks again, everyone, for participating. And see you around. It's a small planet. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you.